What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Connor. I am Connor. The UFC's debut on Paramount is only 2 short months away from when I'm recording this. Was today, beginning of November, so we're about, I don't know, what, 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out, something like that. I don't know exactly when this date's going to be. The UFC has not officially announced what the date is going to be yet, but Dana White is hinting at the card being relatively stacked. I know everyone's just talking about the White House card, the White House card this, the White House card that. I want to fight on the White House card, blah 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 blah. Let's get over the fucking White House card. It's not for another, I don't know, 8 or so months from now. So the UFC really needs to start worrying about this card that they're debuting on Paramount with in the beginning of January. Whatever their first big number card is gonna be for January, it needs to be stacked. They have to make a good first impression. Pay-per-views are no more, so there's no real excuse for it not to be just completely disgustingly stacked. It's like you might as well just throw everything you got on here, all the big stars you got available. You might as well just throw them fucking on here because it doesn't really matter how stacked the cards are after this. And I wonder what the UFC's mindset is going to be moving away from pay-per-view. Like, are we going to see numbered events like UFC 328 or whatever the fuck without championship headliners? I wonder how the UFC is going to kind of navigate this. I'd imagine it'll stay the same and that numbered events will still have all the champions on there, but I do think there's a world where there's numbered events now that are lesser than the numbered events we get traditionally now that would cost money, that would be on pay-per-view. But for this first event, I think it needs to be stacked. Like I was saying, got to make a good first impression. Let's get into the full video here, guys. Before we do that, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all that fun shit. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, continuing on then with the video. Like I was saying, UFC's first card, UFC 324 on Paramount. Start of a new era here. Going to Paramount. We're here. Gonna be paying what? I think it's $13 a month currently for Paramount, so not too shabby. Can fucking guarantee you we're gonna be paying. This is a 7-year deal with the UFC, so I don't know. In 2032, we're gonna be paying like $30 at least for Paramount Plus. I guarantee it. The Pink Man will get his money. Paramount will get their money. They're gonna rail us dry, rake us dry. What is the term I'm thinking of? Whatever, it doesn't matter. This event's going to be taking place at the Inuit Dome. We do know that is that cool arena in LA that they went to last year for Marab Umar was on the card. What was that? Was the co-main? What was the main event? Fuck, I don't know. My memory's blanking on me. I smoked way too much weed for all this. So yeah, that's gonna be at the Inuit Dome for the main event. I think we're all predicting Ilia Topuria is going to be on the main event. That just seems to be the direction we're heading. And now the only question is, who is Ilia Topuria fighting? I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. I think it's going to be Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett for the UFC Lightweight Championship in the main event. I do feel bad for Justin Gaethje and all this. There's some other guys out there. Like, certainly, who deserves the title shot most? It'll be the winner of Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. Really, it's Arman Tsarukyan that deserves the title shot the most. But unfortunately, he had to pull out due to the back injury or whatever the fuck happened when he was fighting Islam for the belt. And I think the UFC just doesn't trust him enough to give him another title shot right away. That's why he is having to fight Dan Hooker at the end of November here. But I don't think the winner of that fight's going to be ready to turn around quick enough. Certainly, I think like Dan Hooker would be down, right? Like if Dan Hooker somehow beats Arman Tsarukyan, I could see a world where he is down to fight Ilia Topuria in January already. Arman, not so much. I don't think Arman's built from the same cut from the same cloth as Dan Hooker is in that regard, at least. I don't think he'd be down for that. You got to remember too, Arman Tsarukyan hasn't fought since UFC 300 when he fought Charles Oliveira. That was all the way in April 2024. So I don't think he's the type to turn around on 2 months. Even if he submits Dan Hooker in the first round, I don't think he's the type to do that. But nonetheless, I think all roads lead to Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. That is the biggest fight you can make, really, in the division. I mean, say what you want about Paddy Pimblett, but he is big, especially right now. He is his own star. He has his own fan base, and I think the UFC is going to use that to their advantage, and it should be a very big fight. I think it'll feel huge when we actually get there, when we're actually on fight week of Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. Ilya Topuria, of course, coming off that knockout win over Charles Oliveira, in which he captured UFC lightweight gold after moving up the division, dropping his UFC featherweight title. And I mean, this guy is just—he's the star of the UFC right now, point blank. He just is. You know, it's him, Hamzat, some other guys you can sprinkle in there. Could have been Tom, but everyone kind of hates Tom now. But regardless, Ilya Topuria is kind of the biggest thing in the UFC right now. He's the best champion they got going for him right now. Undefeated, you know, decent microphone skills, went up a division, captured a second belt. I mean, he is the biggest star in the UFC right now, period. Paddy Pimblett coming off that win over Michael Chandler from back in April of this year. That would be 2025, of course. He's also submitted Bobby Green. I mean, you know, Paddy Pimblett on a, I think, 7-fight win streak right now in the UFC lightweight division. Might be 8 already. And look, man, he's looked good. Like, you can moan and groan about this title shot all you want, but he has looked very impressive. Like, he looked great against Michael Chandler. He submitted Bobby Green in the first round. Now, you can poke holes at those opponents, of course. Michael Chandler, probably not a prime Michael Chandler right now. Bobby Green, certainly not a prime Bobby Green right now. But nonetheless, there's 2 big names on his list that he defeated. Also, Tony Ferguson, not for nothing, right before that. And obviously, Tony's completely washed. But you get my point. It's I don't think it's the most egregious title shot to ever happen in UFC history. There will be people that will not like this. You know, and even me, man. It's like, I would prefer we just wait for the winner of Sarukian and Hooker. But that's not how things line up right now, and the UFC can make this fight, and it'll be a gigantic fight to debut on Paramount with. So Paddy Pimblett it is. Paddy Pimblett will get the title shot, I believe, over Justin Gaethje and over the winner of Sarukian and Hooker for the moment. I think the winner of Sarukian and Hooker will be right there, ready to go, and will get their title shot after. I do feel bad for Justin Gaethje and all this. He is claiming he's going to retire if Paddy Pimblett jumps him. Or at least Ali, his manager, is claiming Justin Gaethje will retire. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's like, man, Justin, you got knocked out by Max, and then you beat Rafael Fiziev. It's like, and I get where Justin's coming from. He's done so much for the sport. He's one of the most, if not the most exciting fighter in the sport. I mean, there hasn't been a boring second of Justin Gaethje's UFC career, and you can't say that about a lot of fighters. It's like him and Yuri are really the 2 guys that, like, at an elite level are just nothing but entertaining. And so I do feel bad for Justin Gaethje. I wish he would just fight someone else. Like, I wish it was him fighting Arman Sarukian or something like that. Or I wish they set up him versus Paddy earlier, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy earlier in the year. But it's just not the way things are working out here. So fortunately for Justin Gaethje, I really hope he doesn't end up retiring on this. I wish they could get him a fight even on this card. Like, let's just get him a bigger fight on this card. I don't know. No one's necessarily coming to mind, but yeah, he just seems like the odd man out here, and it's unfortunate. Continuing on then with your co-main event, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes for the women's bantamweight championship of the world. Kayla Harrison, of course, coming off that win over Juliana Pena to capture gold. Amanda Nunes hasn't fought since way back in 2023, in which she beat Irene Aldana by decision. Yeah, I was gonna end up putting Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg here, because I feel like they're gonna want a second title fight for the co-main event. I don't think they're just gonna want to debut on Paramount with only one title fight. But Kayla Harrison came out and said that her fight with Amanda Nunes is gonna happen sooner rather than later. And I just thought it was a foregone conclusion that we were saving this fight for that White House card all the way in June. It just kind of seemed like that's the direction we were heading, and that Kayla wasn't going to fight for a whole year and just wait for Amanda to get ready. But if she's saying sooner rather than later, hell, why not? Let's throw it on there. Of course, this is a giant fight. It's probably, it's up there with like top 5 biggest women's fights in MMA history. It's got to be. Obviously, Amanda Nunes, long reigning UFC women's bantamweight champion and featherweight champion. Probably the best women's fighter ever to ever do it. I mean, in MMA, I mean, it's between her, Chris Cyborg, and Shevchenko, and she's beaten Shevchenko and Chris Cyborg. So, for my money, Amanda Nunes is the best women's fighter of all time. Kayla Harrison, kind of the new era here, although she is kind of older in age herself. I mean, she might even be the same age or a couple of years younger than Amanda Nunes. But nonetheless, this would be a fantastic fight. Two very aggressive fighters, and so I think it'll be very entertaining fight. We're gonna have to see how Amanda Nunes looks coming back though. 3 year layoff for her, so that's quite a long time. I mean, your body can completely change in that period of time. So we'll see. We'll see how Amanda Nunes looks, but I will be extremely hyped for this, and things seem to be lining up to where they can put this as the co-main on UFC 324. Also on the card then, Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa 2. Now this is where I'm starting to think: am I getting too hyped up here? Am I throwing too many big names on this card? I don't think I am. Like I was saying, Dana did say he's going to throw a lot of big names on this card. And there's just a few guys, a few of the superstars in the UFC that are kind of lined up to be on here. That a couple guys that didn't end up getting on the MSG card in November or on the December pay per view. So they got to kind of line up here. And I feel like the UFC is saving them specifically for this card. And Israel Adesanya is one of those guys. I feel like Izzy's been saying he's been ready for a fight for a little while now. I thought for sure he'd get a fight in like December, November time, but that didn't end up happening. So I feel like they are saving him for this Paramount card. Israel Adesanya, of course, coming off that loss to Nasruddin Imamba from back in February of this year. So it'll be almost a full year since Izzy last fought. Of course, Izzy, you know him, you love him. Was a long reigning UFC middleweight champion. Fought a lot of them, beat a lot of them. I mean, what an entertaining guy. I kind of miss Izzy now that he's been away for a little while. You know, I feel like he took a long gap before the Imavov fight, too, and now he hasn't fought in another year. So I miss Izzy. I think it'll be a nice spot to have him on this card, kind of enter a new era with Izzy on the card. Makes a lot of sense to me. Paulo Costa coming off the win over Roman Kapilov, decision win over Roman Kapilov, in which he looked great in that fight, you know, and just kind of prepare him for Izzy, you know, another tall, lanky kickboxer. Of course, their first fight did not go well for Paulo Costa. He got TKO'd in the second round in that fight, and it was a little while ago now. That felt like a different Paulo Costa, and we're kind of in a new age of Paulo Costa here, who has certainly gained a lot of fandom throughout the years. And this should be a fantastic fight. I mean, the first one wasn't a great fight. It was kind of just a dominant performance by Israel Adesanya. I feel like with Izzy seemingly degrading a little bit as a fighter and Paulo Costa getting a little bit better, I think this one will end up being a much better fight than the first one, much more competitive fight than the first one. And I would love to see it. And I feel like both guys are kind of available and ready to go here. My next fight, Derek Lewis versus Mario Pinto. I'm predicting to be on the UFC 324 main card. Derek Lewis hasn't fought in a hot minute now. You know, Derek Lewis, I guess I'm just so used to Derek Lewis being active in his UFC career, although he kind of hasn't been the last couple of years. He's getting older in age now, so I think he's just kind of choosing his fights and the time he fights more wisely. Mario Pinto, only 2-0 in the UFC thus far, but I feel like these are exactly the type of guys Derek Lewis ends up fighting and likes to fight. I mean, Taliesin Teixeira, who Derek Lewis last fought, and beat, knocked him out in the first round back in July. It's almost the exact same thing. Taliesin Teixeira was 1-0 in the UFC, and somehow already ranked. Mario Pinto 2-0 now, and has looked fantastic in his UFC career thus far. Coming off that TKO win over Jonata Deniz, from just all back in September, I believe. So it wasn't long ago at all, or that was on the Brazil card, so that was early October, only a month ago. But I feel like he'd be down for a quick turnaround, especially if you're giving him a name like Derek Lewis. He also has that nasty knockout win over Austin Lane, which is one of the best knockouts of the year. If you haven't seen that one, go look it up because it's fucking brutal. And yeah, I feel like you want to put Derek Lewis on this main card. Obviously, fan favorite in Derek Lewis, and everyone just kind of wants to see him take his pants off on Paramount's debut. So let's do that. To open this main card, then, I'm predicting Sean O'Malley versus Sonya Dawn. Now, this is where I question myself. Would they really put Israel Adesanya and Sean O'Malley and Derek Lewis all on the same card? I don't know, because I feel like they'd probably spread the field a little bit. They still got to fill up those fight nights. They need main events for fight nights, and all three of those fights could be a main event and a fight night somewhere. But I'm gonna hope that they go the route of just stacking the shit out of this card, like I was saying in the beginning of the video. And I'm gonna guess that this is on there. This is the one I feel most confident about being on there, besides the two title fights. Is Sean O'Malley versus Sonny Dawn. This fight's been discussed for a little while now. I feel like it's been discussed since Sean O'Malley lost to Marab for the second time back in June. And it's a fantastic fight for Sean. It's a fantastic fight for Sonny Dawn as well. Sean O'Malley, of course, like I was saying, coming off that loss to Marab Dvalishvili for the second time. So he's 0-2 in his last two now. So he lost via submission to Marab back in June. And of course, before that was the reigning UFC bantamweight champion. Had that title defense win over Chito Vera. You guys remember all this. Beat Aljamain Sterling. And been a while since we've seen a crazy Sean O'Malley knockout. So I'm sure he'll be looking for one of those here. Sonny Dawn coming off that weird win over Henry Cejudo from back in February of 2025, in which that fight ended in eye poke. Pretty nasty eye poke. And Sonny Dawn, I think they went to the scorecards now. It's funny that this ended in an eye poke when eye pokes are such a big topic of conversation right now in this sport. But yeah, nonetheless, he did end up walking away with the victory here over Henry Cejudo. Sonny Dawn, huge knockout power, very exciting bantamweight, and this should be a fantastic fight. I mean, great fight to open up the main card with on that Paramount pay-per-view, or whatever the hell we're calling it now, the UFC 324 numbered event. We're really gonna have to come up with a different name for these things. But yeah, this fight, like I was saying, probably the one I'm most confident with actually getting scheduled on here. I think they're definitely gonna do that. I might be wrong with the other two, but this is the main card I am predicting here. Like I was saying, for your lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. Co-main event, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. To fill out the main card then, Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa 2. Derek Lewis versus Mario Pinto. And Sean O'Malley versus Sonya Dawn. And this would definitely be a banger. I mean, this would do it. If you're making a debut on a new channel, new station, Paramount Plus now, this will do it, man. This will get a lot of people tuning in. Imagine this for free, Like, it's going to be millions of people viewing into this. Not free. Obviously, you got to subscribe to Paramount Plus, but still, for $13, this is going to get millions of people tuning in. Here's some prelims. There's no way I'm right on really any of these prelims. I'll be lucky if I get one of these correct. But these are the people that are available, and people that are fighters that are available, and fighters that seem to be ready to go and would be a good idea to put on this first Paramount card. Joe Pyfer versus Jared Cannonier. I feel like that fight makes a lot of sense. Joe Pyfer just cracked into the rankings with his last win. Jared Cannonier hasn't fought in a little while, but he's ranked like number 8 right now. And UFC very high on Joe Pyfer, so I feel like they'd give him a big step up like that, and a good name in Jared Cannonier. Rafa Garcia versus Esteban Ribovic, which was a guarantee fight of the night, fight of the year contender if they put that one on there. Veronica Hardy versus Casey O'Neill, 2 ranked strawweights. Or I don't think Veronica Hardy's quite ranked yet, but she's coming off a win in her last fight. Casey O'Neill's ranked like 13 or 14, so give Veronica Hardy a little step up and get her off the first fight on the card as well. And then also on the prelims, Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva would be an excellent fight. Charles Johnson, very exciting UFC flyweight. Bruno Silva coming off a win in his last fight. Makes a lot of sense to me. I would love that. And that's the card I'm putting together, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Of course, UFC going to Paramount now. Let me know what you think about this whole Paramount deal. Just imagine UFC is going to be sitting right alongside Dexter, Big Brother, the iCarly revival, and then there's Derek Lewis in his underwear. That'll be Paramount Plus. This right here, Derek Lewis in his underwear, will be the little image thumbnail thing that's on Paramount Plus when you click on UFC, and how glorious that'll be. What a time we're living in. That'll do it for the video then, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all that stuff. Let me know what you think will be on the main card of UFC 324. Let me know what you think of my card. If you like it, if you hate it, if you think I'm an idiot, let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.